So the other day, we discussed Joy Reid's mega-based hot mic moment where she was covering Biden, and when she thought it cut to the video of him talking and the element was playing, she said, "Start another fucking war." And it wasn't exactly clear in context what it meant. Everybody's intuition on it is like, well, she was talking about Biden, so she's referring to Biden's going to start another fucking war, like how he's bombing Yemen, for example, and like she's against that. It wasn't exactly clear, but that's what I think is the most likely scenario. She was sort of going after Biden for that. So my main takeaway from that is, number one, based. But number two, I would like it if she voiced these things on air more often, right? I think she knows what her place is on MSNBC. And MSNBC is the rah, rah, yay Democrats channel. And so she usually goes out there and does rah, rah, yay Democrats. And so she colors within the lines for the most part. Now, having said that, she has actually been pretty damn good on the issue of Gaza and Israel. One of the few voices that's doing a very good job on that. So, I'm critical of her, but less so than I would have been in the past when I thought she was just a total hack. But here she's going to be, presented with an opportunity to discuss her hot mic moment. And I think she handles this well and actually wins some points. So let's listen and then we'll break it down.
People that wear microphones every day, we can relate to this. But last week you had a hot mic moment that got some attention. Let's just say you used some colorful language. Who doesn't?
Not me. I'm a Christian.
But, but it seems like you were criticizing President Biden for starting another war. I don't think you're alone in concerns of that, but is that true? Like, what was behind this?
Well, I'm going to hit that with a cute no comment. No, but what I'm going to say is I am a person that I'm a study war no more kind of Christian. I'm a red letter Christian. I don't believe in war, whether it is the governor of Texas literally trying to start another civil war over an issue that his party could solve tomorrow. There's literally a bill that they just could pass, right, and do the border security issue. Or whether it's in the Middle East. I was deeply against the Iraq War. I'm an anti-war person. And so, I don't want to say that there's any side that is specifically to blame here. But I think I think for most Americans, we're war weary. I think we're all weary of conflict, and we would like to see us progress economically, socially, try to bring this country back from the brink of racial hatred. Let's not do war at all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not kill people.
Let's not kill people. And I mean, what's happening in Gaza has shaken everyone. Like, let's not do that.
And if you find that war is happening, at least let us know who's gotten hit, because I haven't heard very much about the 3 young people who lost their lives that night.
So she didn't back down. She didn't back down. She basically was like, yeah, I said it, and war really fucking sucks, and that's part of my ideology, and that's going to stay part of my ideology. True. And at the end there, I don't know if you caught it, but when all the other hosts were starting to chime in, she brought up Gaza specifically and said, I think what we're seeing in Gaza is shaking everybody. It's exactly right. Look, Joy Reid is right. All I would say to her is, and I know this is difficult, I know this is easier from my perspective because I'm not in the hot seat with all of the executive eyeballs on me, but lean into it. Lean into it. Don't stop. You can be more direct and sharp with your criticisms. You can do that. You can directly call out Joe Biden for arming and funding Benjamin Netanyahu as he does a genocide and an ethnic cleansing. One of the world's most obvious genocides and ethnic cleansings. So I would just, if this segment is for anything, is to tell Joy Reid, good on you, and don't hold back at all. Go further. Go further. Because for a long time, every single host on MSNBC let all of us down in 1,000 different ways. And we don't need to rehash all of it, but you guys know the gist of it. I mean, back during the Trump years, they could have been hitting him over more specific policy criticisms, but instead they were Russiagating, which was absolutely idiotic, pretending like he's Vladimir Putin's puppet. It was just the wrong approach. The MSNBC hosts shouldn't have all turned into the liberal version of Alex Jones because Trump was in office, right? But this is an opportunity to rehabilitate and revive yourself by leaning into the correct criticisms, right? Now, by the way, I'm under no illusions. I've told you guys this from the beginning. I think that if Trump was in there, he would either be doing exactly what Biden is doing on Israel and Gaza, or what's more likely is he would be worse. He's the guy who moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He's the guy who took $200 million from Sheldon Adelson. He's the guy who sat by and let Saudi Arabia dismember a Washington Post journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. He's the guy who armed Israel, funded Israel. My guess is he'd tell Netanyahu, I'm not even going to do the finger wagging in public where it's like, oh, you better bomb more nicely. That's what Biden does. He'd just be like, hey, if you want to fucking nuke them, go ahead and nuke them. So I would fear a Trump presidency. But the fact of the matter is that shouldn't stop you from unleashing on Biden for currently, in reality, enabling the genocide and the ethnic cleansing and the displacement and the starvation and the thirst and all of the horrific things that are currently happening in Gaza. That is happening because of Joe Biden, because of Benjamin Netanyahu, and they deserve every single little bit of criticism. And by the way, just to be clear, Joy-Ann Reid, it's not like she's not speaking for anybody here. She's speaking for the silent majority, even the majority of MSNBC viewers. I don't know if you guys saw this poll, but 50% of the people who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 have come out and said, yeah, Netanyahu is doing a genocide and Biden is supporting him in that. Half of Biden's own voters said that. And my guess is it would even be a disproportionately high number of the ones who watch MSNBC because they're more politically engaged, right? So they're probably more likely to say, yeah, Israel's committing a genocide. So speak up, loud, clear, aggressive. Don't bite your tongue. Because again, I think the most important point here is the history books are going to have a lot to say about this moment in time. And it is really, really not going to be pretty. It is going to be phenomenally ugly. And it's incumbent upon every single one of us to get on the record and be super clear that I don't agree with a goddamn thing that's going on, and I will do anything to stop it. Because it's a historic atrocity. It's a historic atrocity that I've never seen anything this extreme in such a short time frame in my lifetime. And so it's incumbent upon all of us to speak up, to do whatever we can to try to ameliorate the harm and the suffering and stop the barbarism and the savagery and the slaughter of innocents. I mean, kids being carpet bombed on a daily basis, amputations with no anesthesia for toddlers. Like, what are we talking about here? And so she got caught on that hot mic. She didn't back down. All I would say to her is go further. Don't stop. Lean into it because you will be vindicated. And even if the worst thing happens where they fire her or whatever, you know what? In that scenario, you've then built up the credibility to go independent and do your own podcast or do your own show, no bosses, and you would do well because you just built the credibility that will have an audience follow you because you spoke out against the genocide, which is very obviously going on in front of our eyes. So continue, Joy Reid. And by the way, if MSNBC tries to retaliate, I'd be the first one to try to reach out to her to say, come tell your story. Let's talk it out. Incentivize everybody. Hey, go watch her show, support her because she's speaking out when it matters. So that was a good response. Again, I would just say lean into it more because you're correct. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.